Good afternoon, evening, or good morning. I am here to discuss a little bit about how to use some features in Pages. So I'll spare all of the reading of the learning targets and success criteria since this is a video, and if you are truly interested, I know that you can pause if you would like to read a little bit more. But I will read our learning target for today. So educators will gain knowledge about the functions and features of Pages and practice how to integrate Pages templates into everyday classroom instruction, thereby increasing engagement and your ability to differentiate. So the success criteria are listed. Essentially, we're going to go over some basic functions, how to use those basic functions in Pages and kind of spruce up and make some of our work a little bit more accessible for some of our friends. So I'm going to go ahead and open a Pages document that I've done and I worked on with Lindsay Harrington. So I'll head that direction. Don't judge the mess of the recents. Okay, so this was a document that Lindsay and I had made together about the law of conservation of mass. So this was all done with the intent of distributing this to students, allowing them to work in a partner or small group. And we have it differentiated because we have two different documents, one for 3 atoms and one for 2, so it's leveled, and it was easy just to copy the document and make a few changes. So that's where the differentiation piece can be nice and easy here. So we went ahead, made our checklist for what the kiddos needed to do. We have a space where they can write. We have some graphs that they're using or data tables that they're going to fill out. We have a link where they can click this button and it sends them to a separate page with videos on how to complete this skill if they're struggling. This is a similar page with a little bit more to it. Again, a link for help to a later page in the document with videos attached on how to complete this skill. We have some photos in here, and then our videos are placed and embedded in here as well. So this is a great little tool to have these videos to help some of our kiddos if you can't quite get to them or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to set up a Pages template and a Pages document in Pages. So the first place you would want to go is obviously Pages. So the Pages app looks like this if you've never seen it before. You want to make sure you're in your iCloud Drive. And then you're going to hit Create a Document. And once we've done that, you need to make sure that you're using a preset template, not a basic one. So we need a preset template. Our go-to is usually the for sale flyer. So I'm going to pick my for sale flyer and let it load. And now that I've done that, I'm going to clear everything off of this slide. So to do this quickly, I can tap on one of the objects, hit Command on my keyboard, and then I'm going to tap everything I see and it'll highlight all of it, and I can delete it. The gray background here, though, I do have to tap on it, and using the black toolbar, I have to unlock. So I'm going to delete it now after it's unlocked. Now I have a blank canvas to work with. I'm going to rename, and I did that by tapping here, and it gives me this drop down. Say, WOCO Summit page. All right, so I've retitled it so I can find it easily later. Now let's change the background color. So this is a very basic thing to do, but we're going to tap the background. I'm going to use the format or the paintbrush up at the top. I'm going to tap background, and we have lots of different options to choose from. If you tap here at the top, you also have some other options as well. Color, this is just single colors. I can do a gradient, which is always fun, choosing 2 colors. And I can also add an image. I'm going to choose a color though today, or a gradient. We'll do a gradient. Using 2 colors, this is my starting color, ending color. And if I don't like the way it looks, I can certainly flip it and change whatever I'd like to. So now I've changed my background color. I want to add like a title, and I can do this by using a text box or a shape. Personally, we like to use shapes. We add anything by hitting the plus button. So again, we add anything by hitting the plus button. Once I've hit the plus button, I have a bunch of options for what I'm going to add. So this tab is all of our media, so photos, videos, cameras, audio, image galleries, anything like that. Web videos you can embed, and then shapes is here. You can search for shapes, anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on a shape, adjust the size by dragging, and now if I actually tap inside the shape, I can type anything that I want. And it's nice because it formats it nicely, it looks pretty. And I have added some text. Now maybe I don't like the colors, want to change some things up, I can tap on the shape. And if I want to change anything about the shape, I can go to the paintbrush in the upper corner here. So I'm going to tap on the paintbrush. And now I can change the text inside of the shape or the style of the shape. So in order to change the color, I have to be on the Style tab. And I'm going to change the inside color of the fill, something a little different. Go with that. All right, so now I've picked my color. If I want to change my font color or size, I'm going to highlight the whole text. Again, coming up to the paintbrush because I'm editing a formatting feature, I use that paintbrush. Out of the 3 tabs I'm provided, I'm going to hit the text tab. And then I have all of my options for my font here. So I'm going to go ahead and bold it and change my font size. So you can change the font size by hitting the plus or the minus. You can tap on the number and manually input a number. You can change the arrangements down here, whether if you want aligned right, or excuse me, left, middle, right, top, middle, or the bottom. So there's lots of fun options there. You also have some options up here for the style. I am going to leave it alone for the intent of today. So I've gone ahead and I've added a shape, I've added text to the shape, and I've changed the shape color as well as the text color and size. I could have changed the font as well through that paintbrush option, which I'll do in a later moment. So let's say I wanted to add a shape with some questions for kiddos. So I'm going to go back up to the plus button. We're going to add a shape again. And I want my shape color to match. So I'm going to highlight my shape, go to the format button, and I'm going to go to style, then fill. I'm going to go to color. And I want this to be the exact color, but I don't remember which one it was, so there's an easy fix here. I'm going to slide to the right. If I use this eyedropper tool, I can tap on another shape or anywhere on the screen, and it will match the color. So now my colors match. I want to add a little pizzazz to my shape here, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the paintbrush again. I'm going to go to border, and it's going to allow me to select a few different borders. So I'm going to go with style, and I'm going to choose one of the ones from down here. Plenty of options to choose from. This is where Pages is my absolute favorite. You can also do this in Numbers too and Keynote, but it's super fun just to play with and see some of the different options we have. So just as before, I'm going to add my questions or my text. So what is your favorite? So I have 2 questions now that I've put forward, and I want to make room for my students to respond or for anyone to respond. I maybe want the shape to be a little bit bigger now or a different shape. I can adjust it. Excuse me. Excuse me again. So I'm going to make some room here, and I can do that in a variety of ways. So now I have all of this put together, and I have my shape, I have my questions, and my students can now respond using their Apple Pencils. They can write, or they could add a text box. But I want to make my kiddos' lives easier, so I'm going to go ahead and automatically add a text box. So to do this, I'm going to go up to the plus button, and then I'm going to hit text. Now I have these text boxes that I have for kiddos to type or text. So I have my questions, I have my place to respond. Let's say I wanted to just kind of make it a little bit different and add a photo. I could definitely add a photo. I'm just gonna adjust these so it matches. I would like to show you how to add a photo. So we've gone ahead and done our questions with our text, questions with our text. I'm gonna add a photo now. So to add a photo, you're gonna go to plus again, because anytime we're adding anything, we use the plus button. So to add a photo, I'm gonna go to images, or the media Media tab, and then I will click on Photo or Video, and it will allow me to access my recent photos. So I can select any of the photos here that I wish. So I'm going to find a photo here. I'm going to pick my dog. All right, and I'm going to adjust the size. Then I can also add a border to this as well. So I'll show you how to add a border to shapes and photos again in case you missed it. So that's the format or the paintbrush button up at the top. And I still have the options for style, image, and arrange. I'm going to go ahead and hit style. I can then click border, and then I can choose the border again, whichever I'm feeling. So pick this one, and we're all set with the photo of my dog in the snow. So we've added a photo, we've added a border to the photo, we've added a shape, added a border to the shape, changed its color, added some text, added text boxes. We've added a text box at the top, additionally adding a shape and adding text to the shape at the top and changing the colors. So moving forward, we are going to then talk about how we could lock things on here. So let's just say this is what I wanted for my kiddos. This would be great, right? Add the photos for them. Maybe they're interacting with it, whatever stimulus we've given them, and they're answering the questions. But I don't want my kiddos to be able to move anything. So if I don't want them to move anything, I need to lock all of the document or all of the shapes here. So in order to do that, I'm going to hit Command on my keyboard and start tapping the shapes. The only shapes I don't want to lock are the text boxes, so they have the ability to respond. So now that I see all of my shapes that I have on my page are selected, I'm going to come up to, hopefully you guessed it, the paintbrush. I'm going to tap on that paintbrush, and then I'm going to hit, you have the style option and the arrange, so make sure you are on arrange. I'm going to hit lock. So this is going to allow me to lock these objects in place. So now if I tap here, I can't move them, I can't edit them, I can't change them. But if you remember, we did not lock the text boxes. So this is going to keep me my students able to move these and use these. Another thing that we could do to help some of our students out, that's a little bit more of a differentiation piece here, would be to reading the instructions or the questions. So you could make this document for all of your students who would be able to read the questions or read the document if you included some pictures of text. And then if you have some kiddos you wanted to read to, but they're a little shy maybe, we can add some audio. So if we're going to add audio, we don't want the audio to be locked, so we might want to add it last. So to do that, I go up to my plus button because I'm adding something. And I'm going to make sure I'm on that media tab with the little two photos. Then I'm going to come down to where it says record audio. So I'll record an audio here. If I'm going to record an audio, it's going to come up with this orange bar to let me know that's what I'm getting ready to do. And I have my record button. So for example, I could record myself asking this question or reading directions. What is your favorite thing about using the iPads in the classroom? It'll give me the option to preview so that I could scrap it if I don't like it, or if I like it, I'm going to hit insert. And I also have the option to edit it and trim it down if I have some excess noise. Maybe somebody barges in my classroom and interrupts my recording. So I'm going to hit insert. And now I have this audio piece that I can put right near the question for a kiddo. So if I do that, they can tap on it, and then that will read to them, and it's that audio. This works great for longer directions you frequently have to repeat. And this also works two ways. If you have kiddos who maybe, don't feel comfortable writing, typing, they can record themselves answering the questions. So if you can get them into the habit of hitting the plus button and that record, you can get them recording their responses. That will not carry over, though, as well for submissions in the way that we're going to show you here in a minute. And I'll discuss that in just a second. So we now have an audio added. We have these pictures, right? We have some questions here, right? So whatever you guys have intended or planned, right? Maybe you have questions about this photo for yourselves in your classrooms for these documents. You want to be able to distribute them to your students. So I have a few options for you. The one option Lindsay and I frequently use is Schoolwork. So the Schoolwork app is here. I'm going to go ahead and tap on it. And once it loads, it's going to allow me to distribute this page to each of my classes. So if you've never used Schoolwork before, please don't be intimidated. It's a wonderful tool. Schoolwork is going to have your classes auto-populated for you. So these are all my classes. You can change all these, but that's probably another video you could watch from the WOCA Tech Summit. So I'm going to click on my block 1, and I'm going to hit the plus button up here, and I'm going to add this assignment. So I'll put maybe, put the title, whatever you choose it to be. And it's going to my whole entire block 1, but if I only wanted to send it to a few group of kiddos, I could uncheck, and then I could check the kiddos I wanted to receive it. So here's that piece of differentiation, should you choose to use that. But I'm going to go ahead and send it to my whole block. You have the option for a due date, and you can change it. I'm going to turn it off because we're not going to publish anything. And then I can add the activity. So shameless plug, you can do exit tickets here as well through Schoolwork, which is a really cool feature I'm excited to try. But you're going to go to Files. So we'll hit Add Activities and Files. And it's going to pull up my recents. So if this is what I'm looking to attach, it would probably be where I was working recently. We always open them, just a little trick. Open them before you get here and they pop right up. So I'm going to tap on it. It's going to load. And you'll see that it says it's an editable copy. So this means that each of my students is going to get their own individual copy of this page to work on. However, I can change that feature. So if I hit the info button, I can make it so that students can collaborate together. So they both get a file and they share it. So if I tap on this file, now this option, I'm going to either have my whole class sharing and it says changed to all collaborate, or I can select specific kids. So like you could select a small group of children who might be working together or students who've chosen to work together. So typically when I do this, I let the kids pick the group the day before, or I assign the groups, and then it makes it easier for me as far as planning. So we're gonna go ahead and say block 1, and I would change it back so everybody gets their own. And then I'd hit publish, and it's gonna publish it to every single student, and they will get their own individual they'll get their own individual version of this document. And then I can check to see if they're in progress, right? Some of my students have submitted, even though we don't typically submit through here, and it's ready for review, and it tells me. It also will tell me how much time they spent on it, which I think is awesome, especially if you're looking for long-term projects that you've spent time on in class. It gives you all of this. So just a little how we distribute our Pages documents. Well, once we've distributed the back half, and the next idea is the collection of that work. So the collection of our work is through Schoology. So we do this by exporting our Pages documents as PDFs. The only thing is if you have audio involved and a student has responded in audio, or they've added a video of themselves doing something, converting it to a PDF won't allow you to play that audio, and it will not allow you to see the video. So you'd have to have them submit through Schoolwork. But if you don't have any audio coming from kiddos, or you don't have videos that were placed in here, you can definitely do it this way. So 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to click Export. Then you'll click PDF, and you'll click Export again. Once you're done with that, you're going to look for the Schoology app. And if you don't find it, scroll until you see where it says More. And then you'll see that you have some options at the bottom if it's not showing up. And you're going to have to hit Edit and a plus button if you see Schoology down here. It will move it up into your favorites, and then you have the option to rearrange. So I'll even rearrange this for my kids at the beginning of the year and get them to do this, so that it's right there when they do go to share over. So I'll hit Done, just so that we can see how this is going to look. I'd hit Schoology. Then I go to Submit to Assignment. They select their class. They'd obviously have a larger list. And then from there, they'd select the assignment. So you'd have to have the assignment made in Schoology, and everyone has their own way of doing things. So typically what Lindsay and I do is we tell the kids what type of activity it is. We use the exact same name that it is in Schoolwork, as well as at the top of the document, because that will be its name here. And then the date that we're turning it in. Then you tap on any of these, or I'll just tap on any of them, but they would tap on the assignment. And then I'm gonna click upload. It'll give me a green successful bar, and then I'm all done submitting my work. For those that maybe have some of the audio pieces, if they're responding in audio or they're using video, you can certainly tell them to maybe submit through Schoolwork, or you could have them send you a Schoology message that, hey, I submitted it through Schoolwork, or I'm done. Because when you go to Schoolwork, you can actually access all of their documents. So I will pull up someone's from this class, just that you can see what it looks like. We'll pull up Scarlett's. So if I tap on hers, it'll actually download this Pages document that we need for the kids to fill out, or excuse me, numbers. This was a numbers document. I can download hers and check on her progress. So if she messaged me in Schoology, I have an indication I should be checking, and I could check what she needed me to check. So this was a little drag and drop we did in numbers, but that would be a different app. So I could go check, but that would be another option as well. Is either they submit through Schoolwork if that's what you're more comfortable with. You could have them submit through Schoology, and then if they're using those special features, you could have them message you. Hopefully some of these things helped. A lot of what's helpful for me is just playing with a lot of the different features in a non-threatening way when it's not something super important, just to kind of see what happens as far as like my fonts colors and the styles and how everything pans out. So hopefully this was helpful. If you guys have any questions about Pages, feel free to shoot me an email. I'll add my email here down at the bottom in a shape. I have plenty of templates, as does Lindsay Harrington, that we have made that we would be willing to share with you. If you want us to message you, we can message you these templates through your iPad. They're directly there, and then you can edit them however you choose, and please, no harm, no foul. My email is right here, kfprettyman@worcesterk12.org. So please feel free, if you have any questions, like I said, or concerns about Pages, you can definitely shoot me an email, and I'd be happy to help. We do love Pages over here. So I hope all of you enjoyed this and it was helpful. Again, any questions, shoot me an email. I hope all of you have a wonderful weekend. It is